Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hello to all the bots around the world.
Oh
Welcome to
yeah,
another show
we're
of
back.
CitizenBot.
Yeah, so this one is a bit of a
We're gonna start off. We're gonna start off a little bit. Again, sensational.
bit of
We're gonna
insanity.
a bit of insanity.
Yeah.
There is another last week we spoke about a jet, the Japanese jet that crashed. This week we are talking about another jet that has crashed. This time in America, in Florida.
It's like how Joe Rogan basically sits and
Joe
just
Rogan.
like he's got a fear of bears, I think, and how he just sits there and probably looks at all these animal attack videos.
Oh yeah,
What I
yeah.
do is just look at I just
Jet
find
crash
all
videos.
these jet crash videos. Like it's my biggest fear is like fucking a piece of metal that I'm
But
sitting inside
does
just,
it hang
just
on?
falling out of the
So
sky.
does it stop you from flying though? Even though you're afraid, does
No,
it
it
stop you
hasn't
from
stopped
actually
me.
flying?
That's the weird part. That's what even I'm surprised about. That hasn't stopped me. Look at this.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, the background is a bit different.
Yeah.
Somebody probably is hurting in that
Ooh,
plane.
it's a small jet though. It's a tiny jet.
Emergency landing on the highway or something. Yeah,
It's
who
like one
knows
of those
what
private
happened
jets. Looks
Probably
like.
was an engine on fire or something they had to put down.
Shit,
It's a
bro.
jet
Look at
too.
that smoke.
It's not a prop plane.
I hope fucking people got out on time.
there. It is kind of crazy. Those cars are still going right by it.
What are they supposed to do? Just stand
Nope.
there and go, oh
Kinda
yeah, Mike.
moved a little bit.
Yeah,
That's a fairly big plane,
it
actually.
is. It's a decent sized plane. It's
Is that a Gulfstream or something? It looks like it's a Gulfstream.
Yeah, looks like one of those. Yeah, it's pretty, but it's a big one. It's a big Gulfstream. Good. Look at the size.
People will stay. Oh man!
shit.
Jeez.
The fuck?
Ooh, the fires are
There's people walking out of the
blazing.
plane. Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
Look at that, bro.
you
And
did.
the waves
Absolute
melted, I think.
carnage. Yeah. What is it about us men? I guess because I wouldn't want to criticize the other sex for the fear of being banned. But what is with like men
That airplane fuel
watching
is
shit
high
burn?
octane.
It's
Yeah,
like,
jet fuel.
it's like why do we like to, I'm loving this. I'm loving looking at this and this whole thing like
You just
going up
enjoy
in
carnage,
smoke.
bro. You just enjoy carnage.
But why?
You just-
I'm sure there's like millions of other people out
Look,
there. Who
like
just,
like somebody says, right?
this
Nobody
way,
goes to
the walls
NASCAR.
up,
Nobody
the
goes to
walls
like
up, yeah.
NASCAR to see cars go in an oval. Nobody goes to NASCAR to see. They go to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
they go to
We want shit
NASCAR
flipping, bro.
so they can see
Yeah.
cars flip and run into each other. Right? That's what they're there
I think
for.
that's the whole thing about like Hot Wheels. Like that's the whole craze
Basically,
about Hot
yeah, that's
Wheels.
the
When I
whole
was,
thing
like,
about Hot
playing with
Wheels.
it, I wanted you wanted to stay within the track, but you want to go as fast as possible without it flipping.
Yeah.
But then I guess the flipping part is what makes you gets you excited.
Exactly.
If it makes sense.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So yeah, you're talking about.
That's why-
I
that's
guess
why
with
this-
all the flipping and burning.
That's
yeah.
why with all the cartoons also, like when you look at video games and cartoons, it's all about the fastest things that can go for men, for little kids especially, right? If you watch all the cartoons,
Yeah.
it's like everything has to be like super fast, or everything has to be like there's like you're just a hair's breadth away from like chaos. That's the whole
Like Paw Patrol,
all the
man.
cartoons.
Like
Like
Paw Patrol. That is
exactly.
like fascinating shit, man. Like
Yeah.
the whole. Like I used to watch Voltron, and that
Oh,
was the
Voltron.
thing that kind of like I would wait for that moment. The whole show's formula. I mean, the episode's formula
Yeah.
was that
Alien
trouble
comes.
happens.
Alien comes.
Someone comes, trouble happens, yeah,
Yeah.
and then the all the members they are all at
The pilots,
you
they
know,
try
busy
to do
doing
it.
shit like washing dishes or whatever, and
No,
they
no.
always are trying to get together. That
No,
problem
no,
is
no,
that
no,
they
no,
just
no.
can't get together.
No, hang on. This
so
is what
they can
happens.
become
okay?
Voltron.
Alien comes, okay? Alien comes, or trouble comes. The pilots, they're alerted. When the pilots are they're alerted, they then go and wear their suits. So that's like the first dose of oh yeah, stuff's gonna get good. And then what happens is the pilots will try to sort it out without actually getting into the tigers first, okay?
Yeah.
Once it's pretty apparent that okay, it's gone to the next level. It's gone to DEFCON level 3.
Yeah,
They get into the
yeah.
tigers, okay, and the tigers come out, right? And there's like a whole long drawn out
Yeah, but
animation
there's a
with all
whole
the tigers.
barrier to coming together. There's a whole barrier to coming. Like most of the
because
episode is about they are just stuck somewhere. One of the tigers is stuck somewhere. The blue
no,
one,
they're not
or
stuck
the
somewhere.
red one or the green one.
They're not stuck somewhere. What happens is this evil entity. It's basically there, and all the tigers have to first come out of their hiding places, right? Like the blue tiger comes out of the ocean, the red one comes out of the volcano, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, I remember
that happens.
all that shit. Yeah,
that whole thing happens, right? And then once they all come out, they don't immediately just go into like Voltron mode, right? What they do is they try to fight the thing as tigers, okay?
Yeah,
And,
which doesn't make sense. I mean, why just get together, take out the fucking blade, bro, and go for it?
No, but here's the thing. I think in like a couple of episodes, in like 4 or 5 episodes out of like the 120 episodes or whatever that got released, the tiger formation actually does win. Like without actually forming into like the big Voltron, they as tigers they actually win. Okay, but then all the kids
to create more drama,
every single child is just waiting for the moment where the
and
music starts.
They don't even make the effort. No, actually, it's not about the effort. The genius of that whole thing is that it's the same animation.
It's the same animation, exactly.
They repeat the same animation every time they become Voltron.
Yeah, it's the
they
same
don't
sequence.
reanimate that fucking thing from different angles.
No, they never do.
They never do. I mean, I think maybe they did it. I don't know, but my understanding, like my memory serves me correct, if it's always just that, So, bro, you guys, you went to Bunnings. I'm guessing that you upgraded your whole thing like you told me yesterday.
Yeah. I just bought.
You still got all that fucking garbage, but now it's sitting on the shelves properly.
It is a lot of garbage. Unfortunately, there is a ton of garbage.
What's the missus thing? What's the missus saying about the whole?
Mrs. doesn't care, man. Mrs. she got new shelves, so my son now has his own little library in the living room because one of the shelves went towards that. So it's all my son's books are now in there, instead of being like here along with my stuff. We have a shoe rack, so one of the things became a shoe rack, a shoe cabinet kind of thing, and the other thing went into the garage for now. But yeah, so we got extra storage space the way she looks at it. But the thing is, I bought these garage things just so that I can actually, I'm actually gonna start buying books now. Okay, so the reason being,
talking about books, I've just screen shared the Lord of the Rings. Bro, this is like, let me just have a look.
I know, bro. I saw this and I was like, bro, this is insane. This is like insanity. And look at the price as well.
This is insane. What the fuck is that, bro? Is that like some
That's
kind
like
of
the burnt letters.
Leaves from the... Okay.
It's burnt letters. I think those are like...
letters?
Yeah. Leaves from the book of the... what? Mazarbul or something. Mazarbul. Yeah, must be something in the book. See, the thing is, it's been such a long time that I've read Lord of the Rings. I've actually forgotten what most of it is.
A lot of the stuff is just in the appendix anyway.
Like in the reading of the Lord of the Rings, I've actually forgotten in the prose itself, like what specific things are there. The movies are like really fresh in my mind because and those are all illustrations made by J.R.R. Tolkien himself. So he wasn't just an artist. He wasn't just an author. He was actually... He wasn't just an author. He was actually a proper... He was pretty good at drawing as well.
So that tome, man. Fucking...
Yeah, that's a tome, bro. It's like 1,000 pages, right?
So, I mean, what I was basically trying to say is that, I guess we build all these shelves so that we can... It's like $330, that thing, bro.
Yeah.
So we can have physical shit put there, right? So what is with men creating these man caves? Has this man... I mean, bachelor pads, in the Playboy magazines, they would talk about bachelor pads. I mean, that's the first time I heard... when I was reading Playboy magazines for the content, not for the pictures.
Right.
At that time, they had, a mention of a man cave. If you watch the Ron Burgundy movie, right? I think it's Ron Burgundy, right? Yeah, the Will Ferrell, one. Where is the newsman? Okay. Anchorman. Anchorman.
Yeah.
So in the Anchorman, how he's got that whole mahogany wood and maroon fucking... Like this rich fucking, what do you call, house with rich color, bancho aankhon pe aata hai sara furniture, like it's in your face, right? So that whole like fucking decadent kind of a thing. That's what kind of pictures I would see like in these magazines, right? And they would call it the bachelor pad, right? But I think that this whole thing goes beyond the whole, like, you know how people say that women love to have, you know, like in the old, like if you look at Greek and Roman during the empires, the time of the empires, like, you know, women who would wield power, they would, you know, women love like, you know, big mansions, big houses, or even there's that documentary about the Queen of Versailles. There was a documentary
Versailles.
that came out, I
Queen of
think,
Versailles,
about
yeah.
Versailles or something. Yeah, sorry, I'm mispronouncing that, but I think 10 years ago a documentary came out, The Queen of Versailles. Okay, it's about this guy who was this fucking rich, you know.
No, not Queen,
He used to
King of
sell
Versailles.
sharing, something like that. You know, some family or something. It's a documentary, right? Look it up, and it's basically about this family.
Oh, I know what you're
who-
talking about. Oh, no. I know.
The guys
it's
who
the,
sell condos, like, you know, at
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the woman who used to sell condos, and she's trying to
the
make
guys
like her
used
own
to sell
house or
time
something.
sharing condos.
Oh,
Her
okay.
husband used to sell time sharing condos, and it's basically the camera just goes into their lives where they're basically going through this bankruptcy or whatever. I think during the financial crisis, 2008 or something, 2009. So it came out a while back, and they had
They were
this
trying to
fucking
construct a new house,
mansion,
right?
bro.
Yeah.
They were building this new house. It had like fucking, I don't know, 40 rooms or some shit, and fucking statues and water fountains and all that. So I'm saying that women love that stuff as well. But with men, I think it's less about real estate and more about possessions. You know, so
Well,
like I
real
was going to
estate
talk
is
about
technically a
watches
possession
and
as well.
yeah, but I think that its size matters when it comes to possession. For like today, you know, when like even you look at all the SUVs, man, like most of them are driven by ladies, soccer moms, right? So the way we perceive objects and the way we think about size, like, you know, most men just think about dick sizes and bullets and guns, and there's all this, you know, what do you call psychological Sigmund Freudian shit going on about like
Yeah.
all that, right? I don't want to get into, but I think that my personal armchair observation is that like there are, when it comes to women, it's about size matters when it comes to possessions. For us, size does not matter. If it that same collectible 330 or like, I'll tell you something. If there was, how many, I can bet you right now, how many women do you think are there who will buy the Lord of the Rings this book set?
Compared to men,
Not
maybe
many.
not so many.
Compared to men, not so many. If you look at those Brandon Sanderson, you know, Kickstarter, all that shit, right? Yes, women love reading that stuff, but I think it's the men who are. So basically, a lot of these collector editions, especially look at video games, like, you know, look at the video game collector items, they're all mostly men. So I think when it comes to geekdom, you know, nerdiness and all that, and all this comic book, you know, mania that is going on at the moment, collector's editions of any kind, mostly it's men, you know. JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah,
man,
it's actually
it's
quite
running
hard
on-
because even me, as somebody who's been reading Sanderson and somebody who enjoys, like, you know, who really enjoyed like all of his work so far. So I've read like the Mistborn novels. I've read I'm kind of I've almost finished reading everything he has done for Stormlight Archive. I firmly, like, I was one of those people who was like, well, you know what, like you should just, like, you know, get the cheapest, get access to content in the cheapest way possible, because it's just content, right? That's what my initial kind of approach was to anything to do with reading or anything to do with
watching. Yeah.
watching, consuming, like, you know, video games or whatever it is. But after reading like a lot of Sanderson's work and knowing that this guy is still alive, my perspective on this thing has changed. I'm like, no, if you're gonna consume content that is so good at this guy's level, like it is so good, you should support him wholeheartedly. Like, don't go broke trying to support him. Like, for example,
yeah.
he's got those leather-bound editions that, you know, he sells on
He's
his
got
website,
ebooks,
right?
he's got audiobooks that you can buy.
Yeah,
so
but he's got
at
like
every
leather-bound
tier, there's
editions.
something available.
He's got like leather-bound editions that he sells on his website,
Yeah, but
which
that's
is
what
like
I'm
way
saying.
too
These
expensive.
leather-bound
Right?
editions, all these
Yeah,
collector
hang on.
items,
Let
you know,
me finish what I'm trying to say. So he's got these leather-bound editions that he sells from his website that are like $250 US a pop. Okay, so if you want to buy
Right.
Mistborn novel 1, it's like $250 for the leather-bound edition, the first novel. Okay, Um, I probably wouldn't go that far, but I would definitely buy. He released like a collector's set. I would definitely buy that. In fact, I have actually bought that. That is like the first books I've actually bought in a very long time. Okay. Um, I think you should actually support people who are actually really good at what they do, rather than just consuming their work.
But don't you think something like Lord of the Rings should be now, copyright free?
Yeah, exactly. No, Lord of the Rings, I think
They're
needs
still
should
selling it for
be.
$300, man.
Yeah, but
Cashing it
$300 you're getting like so much. I think it shouldn't be 300. I think it should be more around like 150 maybe for that book set. But then again, it's the publisher. The publisher can charge whatever it is that they want to charge, right? The publisher can be like, "Yep, I'm gonna." The publisher sells the $350 book that you see over there, which is like leather bound and special edition and all that stuff. There is a cheaper version of it. It's for $69. Okay, which is a
Right.
hardcover. It has all the same content. The content is the same. It's just the covering. So paying 3 times as much just because the cover has changed is a bit, For me, it's like
Yeah.
how much leather? How much
Which
leather
is
are you
weird. I think
realistically
they've had
using?
more editions of Lord of the Rings come out than the Harry Potter editions, if you think about it.
Yeah, no,
With
definitely.
the Harry
But that's the
Potter
thing. It's like
books, yeah.
how many. You have to ask yourself the questions like how much leather have you actually used in covering that book? Like the material, the amount of material. How much of it have you used? Well, not so
Fuck
much
all,
really.
bro. Nothing.
Nothing,
Maybe
nothing compared to say a
it's
shoe.
probably
Like
like five. It's like $5 worth of leather. Maybe even less
maybe
than that.
okay. Let's give them the benefit
And
of the
these
doubt. It's
leather
like
and the leather that they use is not like high quality leather, like the one that goes into
no,
shoes.
like
and
let's say even if
leather
let's say
jackets.
let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they use like super high quality, top grain, best of the best in class leather. Okay, let's say it's still not enough leather to, I guess, cover a shoe. The amount of leather that goes into making like a nice leather shoe, that's probably a
Right.
lot more. And leather shoes are a lot cheaper than just buying a book. But then again, the argument is it's
Yeah.
two different. It's apples and oranges. It's two different products. But I'm saying the amount of leather used versus like the standard book without any leather, which is just cardboard, nice cardboard, hard fiber, hardback, is 69. But then the same book just in leather is 300. That's 3 times as much.
Yeah.
Where is the like we're looking at like the material cost that is involved in, so the only thing that's changed is now this is in leather and that was not in leather.
I guess it's a brand, and sometimes I had a friend, and he said that sometimes the price itself sets the standard in
Yeah,
a weird way,
yeah,
right? It's like, look at all these watches, bro. I mean, do you really
that's
think that a Rolex is worth 15 grand or whatever at the moment is going for crazy amounts? I mean, it's come down now, but in
I mean,
COVID,
forget about Rolex.
it's just
People
ridiculous.
think okay, just an FYI, people think that Rolex is the most expensive watch in the world. It's not.
It's not. They're way
You
more
have
expensive.
you have your Patek Philippe's, you have your Audemars Piguet's, Audemars
You have
Piguet's are
your
like what,
Vacherons.
50 grand. Like the Royal Oak is like
Vacherons,
55 grand
the
or
ones
something.
that Brad Pitt. What's the brand that Brad Pitt wears?
Is it Vacheron?
Vacheron, I think. Something Vacheron. Constantine Vacheron. Something.
Vacheron
Constantine.
Constantine, yeah, that's probably the one. Okay,
They're
So-
more expensive. Yeah, they're
yeah,
really expensive.
but that's the thing. It's like there are so many more expensive watches. Why are they so expensive? Well, because they can, they can make it that expensive.
They can
it's
charge
there,
for
it's-
that.
Yeah,
They're serving that demographic market. It's like where
they're
they
serving
are
that market
basically
that's actually
selling,
willing to pay.
that much, and they're obviously using components that are quite expensive, but the markup is pretty high at the same time.
Yeah. So that's
But the
I think
idea
that's
is
what
that basically I've
comes in
created a
over here as well.
vase. Think of like creation of a vase.
Mm.
You have a vase you can get for $5, $50, 100, and thousands and thousands.
Mm.
I saw a video where Michael Jackson was in Harrods shopping.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure he was in Harrods. And there's a camera going around with him while he's shopping.
Okay.
He walks into a store, sees a vase, and the person says, how he asks him
Guy's
like,
like,
how
"Give
much
me
is
that."
vase worth? And the guy goes like, this vase is, I think, I don't know, 70,000 pounds or some shit like that. And this was in the
70,000
90s, late
pounds.
90s, right? And he said,
Back
okay, can I
then,
have two
holy
of them?
crap!
And he bought two of them from Harrods. He did 1.2 million pounds of shopping just on camera.
Just in one on
Like
that one
walking
day
around.
in camera. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, back in the day, marketing and PR, all that was there, but still, he spent 1.2 million. I mean, who knows that whether he even spent all that money? I mean, was it given away for free, whatnot? But thing is that there are people and there are products that are created for these people who can afford them, and it's a bit of a flex as well. Actually, you know what? It is a flex.
It's more of
That's
a flex,
all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more of a.
Like
So I think
for
even-
example, if you are
even
somebody
for us,
who's a
these
book
books.
nerd.
Yeah.
If you're a book nerd, you walk into if you walk into somebody's book man cave or library, personal library, and you see all these nice leather bound editions on their thing. Something inside you goes, wow, that is freaking awesome.
I think that's
But at
what's
the end of the
going
day,
on.
it's
So-
okay, you just know that this guy spent more money, getting those leather bound
so
books. That's
the
it.
ultimate form of possession is property. That's where I'm trying to get at. The whole queen
okay.
of Versailles, I think,
Yeah,
Versailles or whatever. The ultimate form of possession is property. Okay, real estate, right? And if you look at the older empires, right, and you look at the temples that they built, all that, it's all about real estate. And even to curry the favor of the gods, they would build temples.
They would build temples.
And
that's
civilizations that are the most powerful, they would build the biggest temples, right? So I think that at the moment, what is happening is that because a normal student or a normal, I mean, think about it. Most students in Australia, right? I've noticed everywhere. The first thing they do while they're in uni, what is the first thing they try to get? A car. That's the first big piece of
Car
possession.
is a very big
And
piece of possession, yeah.
yeah, a big piece of possession that a person will try to get. They'll buy a 10-year-old Skyline or a fucking 15-year-old Nissan ZX or whatever, right? So that they can flex. Look, I've got a sports car because they can't afford a fucking brand new sports car. I mean, even with Teslas now, a Tesla performance, right, will set you back about 90 grand, okay, in Australia.
Yeah.
Right, which is about, I don't know, 70, maybe, I think about, 70, 60, 70
You can probably buy a Nissan.
60,
You
70,000
can buy a
US.
Nissan GTR for that money, man. Like a brand
No, it's
new
more
Nissan
now. I
GTR.
think a Nissan GTR or whatever.
No.
But the thing is that before Teslas came out, you were looking at the Nissan GTRs and the Porsches and all that stuff, and Flex was much out of reach. But now Flex is becoming affordable, and as we are coming out of these
it's
cars,
affordable flex.
it's affordable flex. And what I think Rolexes are just affordable flex. Because the real flex is way up above that, which is Audemars and all that. Because if you think about it, I've not seen any celebrities recently wear any Rolexes.
They all wear
Very,
Vacherons and Audemars.
I mean, James
and
Bond used to wear
Pateks.
Omega and all that.
Yeah.
Fictional characters like James Bond and even the actors who would play them, they would have contracts to wear Omegas and Tag Heuers. But now it's all, it's Audemars and above at the moment. So I kind of feel that
I think it's because Rolex
people can't afford real estate, bro. They're moving one tier down. All flex is moving into these possession objects,
Yeah.
Back
So
in the
now
day,
people are spending money to just buy the Rolexes, for 10 grand or 12 grand or whatever.
men and women have a need to buy shit
Yeah.
and flex.
I still remember there was a time when Cartier.
But houses are getting out of reach. Real estate is getting out of reach. So they're moving one level down. Everything is moving one level down,
Yeah. So you've got brands like, Cartier. Cartier doesn't have the same, I guess, standard now. Not standard. They don't have the same standing in the brand stands, if you can call that.
Yeah.
That they used to, you see. Even though their
But I
watches
think
are still
Cartier's got a
expensive.
group of products. They don't just do watches. They got a group of products. So, I think I'm pretty sure Cartier was a jeweler as well.
They're a jeweler, yeah.
Cartier jeweler. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's a jeweler.
And Chanel, I think, was also
Chanel was a
jeweler.
fashion
I
brand,
think,
so it's clothing.
Fashion brand from the beginning. Yeah, there you go. So I think the core products, if you look at Ray-Bans, right, they got bought out. But Ray-Ban in the beginning was just a sunglass company.
What's a sunglasses?
And now they've become, now they started making sunglasses with the whole augmented reality, features built into it and stuff like that, right? They're trying to,
They're trying to differentiate.
Talking about all that, there's a couple of things on the horizon that I want to talk about. Talking about sunglasses, actually, what reminds
Actually,
me
no.
was-
Let me
was sharing
before we
Yeah.
move on to this. Hang on a second. Before we move on from here, one thing I wanted to address was, as somebody who is a voracious an absolute digital fanatic, right? I will support anything digital. There were times I still remember back in back when we were in uni, when we were in like Dubai, right, where
Yeah.
there was this sentiment that physical will come to an end, right?
Yeah.
Physical media will completely come to an absolute and abrupt end. And this was like 25 years ago or 20 years ago. And 20 years passed, physical media has not just, it's not that physical media has just abruptly stopped. It has exploded now. Okay, there's more physical media today than there ever was.
Right.
Okay? That's why when I see like in many people go, oh, you know, print is gonna be dead soon, and this, I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Just go on Amazon and look at, like, you know, the price of books. I mean, it's becoming more and more prevalent now. Like, you walk into a
Yeah.
bookstore in the shopping mall, bro, and they are just up to the gills in like books. You know what I mean? Like, you go into a Robinson's or something like that, Robinson's bookstore,
Yeah.
or if you walk into like a Dimex or a CBD Books, or like, these are all brand names in Australia. These are all like branded bookstores in Australia. And bro, they are like up to the gills in books. There is a company in Australia
Like
called
Angus and
Gross.
Coot is there, I think, in England.
Angus and Coot is there, but there's a company here called the Book Grocer. Okay.
Yeah, $10 books, I think, $20 books.
No,
Back
the
in the
book
day, it was
grocer.
$10. But
The book grocer, what they do is, when there's an overflow from some other, like, you know, major booksellers, they buy the books from them at a steep discount. So
yeah, and then they sell them for $10
and then
a
they
piece.
sell it for like $10 a piece.
10, $20 a piece. Yeah.
And I'm like, is there really that many books out there? But
Yeah,
then
but you gotta
weird
understand
thing
there are a
is,
lot of hidden gems, and there's a lot of hidden gems within those books, though. Because
yeah.
I bought a book which was known as the Cigarette Smoker's Handbook for $10 from the book grocer, right?
Okay.
And that book was basically the history of cigarette smoking, not about cigarettes.
Okay. So it's like a
history of
coffee
cigarette
table book,
smoking.
basically.
Yeah, and it had all these big mega stars from the golden era of Hollywood, and all the big turns and events of smoking. Like like there were sports car drivers smoking, and there was a president smoking, and all that. And it's not about the personalities per se, but it's about through the ages how smoking has been part of the pop culture. So all the female starlets that were there at that time, and the divas or whatever you call it. They all enjoyed smoking from time to time, and they had the Bond actors, and the movies, and mostly it's pop culture based. It's mostly Hollywood based, but it was a very good one. Like Humphrey Bogart, I think that's where he glamorized smoking and all that. So those kind of books, because they don't have all literature at the moment is marketing.
It is, no, 100%. 100%.
All self-help books are just marketing. They
Pure
just look at
marketing,
what angle they can get into. I was listening to a podcast by Jocko Willink, and he says that motivation is temporary, discipline is permanent.
It's permanent, yeah.
So the problem with the business of discipline is that once someone has it, there's no need of discipline anymore. So you can't keep.
There's no need of motivation anymore.
No. Motivation
Once
is temporary.
somebody has it.
So
Okay.
once someone has discipline, there is no need for anything. So discipline has a very small market, because discipline, it creates permanency. You do it once, someone gets it, and then you move on. So you have to look for a new customer who's not disciplined. There's billions of people on the planet, but what I'm trying to say is motivation is more of a like a consumer product. The same person will continue to, the market for
Consume,
is repetitive
being
market.
motivated. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
They want to continue being motivated, So like how Elon Musk says that if you need motivation to do a business, you shouldn't be doing a business to begin with. Right? Because the problem is that you're relying on some emotion that has to happen in your life for you to be able to do it. So I think that's why if you watch movies like like the master apprentice model, that is where discipline comes. You can't get discipline from reading a book.
Yeah.
You can't get you can only get motivation from reading books, not discipline.
Yeah.
Right? So you could read the book of 5 Rings or 3 Rings from Miyamoto Musashi, right?
Book of 5 Rings, I think.
Book of 5 Rings, and it's a such a thin 60-page, 100-page book, right? You can read that, and it'll give you understanding of what it takes to become disciplined, but it'll not give you discipline. It's a road path to becoming disciplined, right? But what he's done is he's shared his life story to tell you that how he got to that point of discipline. Even the movies that have been made on Musashi in the 60s or 70s, that is available, I think, on Criterion or whatever. You can watch them. But Toshiro Mifune, the famous actor, he plays Musashi in it, and his journey of like how he gives up on everything and he goes on to become that person. So it has obviously a lot of Buddhist elements and all that, and that journey is what I think the modern Musashis are like. David Goggin, Joe Rogan. I mean, can't compare to Musashi, but what I'm saying is that modern day warriors, these people are that.
Yeah.
Jocko Willink and
Basically,
all that, right? They've excelled at work, or they've excelled in their endeavors, whatever they've achieved. So I think that that what brings us to the idea of I guess the whole the pursuit of digital products, the pursuit of digital possession, that in itself I think is kind of problematic, because it makes people happy. People are happy owning things that are not even, you can't touch.
That they can't really own. They don't really own. Even if you buy a digital product, that product is only there in your collection, quote unquote, as long as the rights holder of that digital product maintains the server where the digital product resides.
Correct.
Where it comes from. Because the moment that server shuts down, the only way for you to retain your copy or have your copy is if that copy already existed on whatever product or device you downloaded it upon.
Correct.
Because and then that device that you hold that has all that information, whether it's a hard drive, whether it's a console, whether it's a DVD, whatever it is, then again you come back full circle. Like now you have a physical object that you have to really take care of it's because it's got all this stuff crammed onto it. So it's like, well, why don't you buy the physical thing to begin with? Like buy the damn physical thing to begin with. Don't like run after all.
But
this
I think because
stuff.
of
Convenience,
technology convenience there, but ultimately technology is deflationary.
Yeah. See, like over here, this little Kindle.
You can start from a $50 digital product. Eventually, it'll become a $5 product.
Yeah,
and the physical product that you're holding in your hand, over time, it'll just become more and more expensive.
It'll become more and more expensive.
That's the environment we're living in. So people, they have trouble trying to come to terms with parting with their money when they could get the same product for
less than half that price. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, okay, so let's say for example, that Lord of the Rings book that we were discussing, that Lord of the Rings leather bound, beautiful, like amazing book, $300, whatever it is. You buy that for $300. Do you think it'll actually hold its value at $300 over time? I don't think so.
It will
because
not,
new editions will come out, and then that's it.
Correct. They can keep making new editions,
which they will. So I think because it's a capitalist society.
So that's where you have that's where I need to plug in about that's where I need to plug in about Bitcoin. That's why people should buy Bitcoin.
Do your plug-in, yes.
So the idea that something is limited, and it's finite, right, is what you want to own. There's so much. There's gold. They can keep digging more and there's more tech coming out to find gold even faster, better. Go deeper. More machinery is coming out. Same thing with oil. They've been selling. We're gonna reach peak oil from 70s. They've been saying we'll hit peak oil.
No, they said in the 70s we hit peak oil. They said in the 70s we hit peak oil. But
I'm
like,
still,
what?
And Aramco is like the third most. Yeah, and Aramco just crossed like $1 trillion worth. Like it's still the most, like the biggest company, one of the biggest companies in the world.
Like it's
correct. There's a lot of oil down there, right? So I mean, yes, the reason why the Saudis and the Middle East is moving towards another economy, moving away from oil slowly, which is like a 30-year transition probably for them, is not because they're running out of oil. It's because the dependency of other countries on oil is being reduced. Governments want to reduce their dependency on oil. So I think talking about possessions and digital possessions for one, let's have a look at this one here. I found it really funny and I thought like let's share it. But it's kind of true. I mean, I use a lot of times I'm in the toilet using my phone. So I thought, okay, let's look at how would this work if they had to do it. Look at that, man.
Oh, bro, I saw this one. This is amazing.
Oh my god. This is exactly what,
This is exactly what this technology is built to do.
Yeah, that's what this technology is all about.
Oh. Feel like you're pooping on top of the mountain. That's it.
Yeah.
Or you can't even see the poop thing. Can't
Yeah,
even see
exactly.
the stand.
But what are you gonna do about the smell?
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do about
Eventually,
the smell?
Eventually, bro, there will be like smell altering things as well. I don't know.
I mean,
Technology
remember
can go pretty crazy.
in the movie business, they were thinking about like vibrations and sees
Yeah,
that movie.
smell-o-vision.
I think they have
No,
that.
they were thinking about
They have
smell-o-vision
the
as well.
3D, and they were thinking about smells as well, right?
Yeah. They were thinking about it, but it didn't. It was just this was the 70s, bro. It just wouldn't work. It just won't
Yeah, but
happen. Now it'll
the weird
happen.
part was that back then they were innovating. They were constantly innovating, and now innovation just stopped in terms of what's happening in the. 70s.
It hasn't stopped, bro. It's just gone underground.
It's still
I don't
popcorn and
think it
Pepsi.
stopped.
They've just figured out how they can now churn out more popcorn for less, and how they can make popcorn ready for you. So when you come, it's already packed, and ready for pickup. It's like they've automated that bit, being able to buy the tickets online and ordering your popcorn. So when you get there, it's all ready for you to go. I mean, that's the innovation they're doing. It's like keeping you on that sugar rush. Like you're all sugared up and ready to go when you go for that next
Sugared up
Avengers.
and ready to go.
Next Avengers movie. I mean, even Disney, bro. I was looking at the stocks; they fell. Like they lost like for 100,
Yeah, because of Madame Web.
100 billion or something like that, or something worth of loss.
No,
It's
Madame
like
Web
in
is Sony.
billions.
Sorry, Sony committed their first ever Spider-Man blunder now, right? Because people used to say, "Oh, Sony's making all these amazing Spider-Man movies, and they're all like great." I mean,
What
technically,
blunder?
it's not Spider-Man. Madame Web, right? Madame Web is Disney or Sony. I don't know.
Is it a blunder? Is it? It just come out? No, but overall,
Madame Web has
Disney's
been-
lost a lot of money. Their stock fell. They've lost a lot of money. Disney's just gone. Like they lost like $100 billion
Who's the
in
producer
total
on Madame Web?
value.
No, that was, bro. That was coming. People could see it from a long distance, bro. That this thing is coming.
I personally think, bro, there's enough people watching these movies. I think personally, it's just that so expensive to make movies. I think that's what's going on. The cost
No, bro,
of
people
making
are not.
movies is a lot.
Movies are also.
And they need to fly
bad.
all these people to India. That's what they need to do. They need to fly
movies are also
all the new
the
actors.
movie-
When they sign the contract, they say, okay, you're not going to be working at the Warner Brothers studio. We've opened a Warner Brothers studio up in Bangalore. You go down there, live there for 6 months, shoot the movie there, and we'll outsource all
But
the visual effects.
you can't shoot an entire movie there because if you have like scenes in like New York or something, you can't just VFX the shit. And,
Bro,
like,
they have done that. So what they do is they have like this wall of
those
LED
big
screens.
walls. Yeah, I know what you're talking
They've
about.
done
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
dude. It's Hollywood, bro. That's where the movie
It's
magic
Hollywood,
they
bro.
call it. That's what movie magic is, bro. This is not a fucking Iranian cinema here, bro, where they're shooting a movie about
Iranian
some kid who lost his sister in the bazaar of like where they sell all these handmade shoes, okay, and he's blind as well, and he lives under a tree, and his grandma,
Ya Allah.
and they live with their grandma, and the grandma is like at
So-
home waiting for them to return from
so
the
sad.
bazaar,
And there's like a
And
violin
it's,
track playing in the background.
yeah, it's like that's Iranian cinema for you. This is not fucking
like
Iranian
artistic
cinema.
Iranian
Like,
cinema.
this is fucking just like get on with the show, bro. This is like running on a fucking treadmill with the green screen on the back.
Yeah,
That's
but no, but Madame Web, I've actually seen like a lot of YouTubers and I've seen like a lot of reviewers online just roast the movie to oblivion, bro. They're saying it is really bad, like it is so bad. The reception is just terrible.
But is it a Sony movie or?
It looks like it's a Sony and Marvel, just like your Spider-Man movies, right? Sony actually then committed their first blunder. Yeah, it's distributed by Sony Pictures. So Sony
Well,
committed
talking
their
about
first
pictures.
Spider-Verse blunder. Huh.
Well, talking about pictures, so there's a very famous for non-Indians out there who are not familiar with Indian cinema. So there's a guy, Ai Rahman. He is an award-winning composer in India, and he's got international acclaim with Slumdog Millionaire and those movies. And after that, he did more work in Hollywood, but he's not like the Hans Zimmer, of
He's more
Bollywood.
like Elliot. He's more like the Elliot.
He's more like a
Goldenthal
very good
of-
producer. Like he's a composer as well, but he's a very famous he's a very famous music composer who does a lot of playback songs and all the singing and dancing that happens in the movies. He's very instrumental in that. So we wouldn't really call him like one of those background score guys.
No,
'cause
but there was
that's
a
what
time in
Hollywood is.
but there was a time in Bollywood where pretty much every second or third movie that used to come out was
Yeah,
basically
was
scored by
Rahman,
A.R.
right?
Rahman.
Yeah. So Rahman is recently what he's done is that he has actually used AI to create a song where he's bought back. Actually, I'm probably not doing it justice here. Let's have a look.
Just share it. Let's have a look.
These pictures, because that is A.R. Rahman lifting 2 Oscars for the unforgettable soundtrack from Slumdog Millionaire. Well, the Indian composer has again been making headlines, this time using AI to recreate the voices of 2 singers who've both passed away. Well, it's a move that's proved controversial with split opinions. Some have supported the move, saying that A.R. Rahman has always pushed the boundaries of technology. Others, though, have described it as unethical and disrespectful. Well, I'll talk to the composer live on the programme in a moment or two. First, though,
Look
have a
at him,
listen
bro. He's
to-
like such a smug ass face. Look at that. Okay. I don't know who the singer is, but
preview. Let's go live to Chennai. Let's talk to A.R. Rahman. Thank you so much.
What is
for
this
being
guy wearing,
on
man?
the program.
I'm not
once
looking at
again.
Rahman. I'm looking at the
Master
fucking
seriously.
the host.
Why you decided to
Like
do
he
this
forgot
with
to
AI?
fucking. I think he's like wearing his coat on top of a
Well, I think a lot
salwar
of
suit or
people have
something.
been putting out like clips on TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. I was intrigued, and one of my assistants who started a company was testing out timeless voices, and he sent me a sample of one of the singers who passed away, whom I introduced to the industry. And the director Aishwarya was looking for her movie Lal Salam for a folk kind of voice, and I felt that voice would be good. And then why don't we try this? And it was an experiment. I would say it's like 70% successful, but I wanted to do it.
talks like a total
Allegedly, I wanted
Southie as
to
well, bro.
take the
70%
permission of
success.
the folks, wife and
But he's from the
the
south. Of course
family
he's gonna
of
do
both the
South.
families, Shahul Hamid and Bama Bakia. And also it becomes a way of sustenance for them. In future, people use that stuff. We ask permission. This is the lyric is singing. This is the tune is singing. Is it okay with you?
So
And then we
these
pay
are
them for. So in a way, I felt my conscience is clear.
Yes.
And
Well, we have the pictures of the 2 singers on the screen as you're describing it. You mentioned there that you went to the families, you spoke to them. What was their initial reaction? Because they must have been surprised.
Yeah, they were surprised. I think there was an email. My assistant
Yeah,
sent an
they're
email
surprised
and
that-
sent a voice note.
They must be surprised
saying
that we're
that the
able to
kid,
make money. Like, why not? Go for it.
Can we make money?
So, yeah, can we make money? Why not? Like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go for it, right? So, I mean,
Let's go for it, bro.
this story probably would play out very differently if it was Hollywood, but you can
America,
see
yeah,
that
it was
you know,
Hollywood, yeah.
that's why I feel that with all the tech, with all the talent that sits in the tech industry over there, right? They're being able to automate shit and use IT technology, IT services, where India is headed, and obviously, good labor, quality labor, and cheap labor. They should just move Warner Brothers should just move all their studios. Disney, all these fuckers,
Just
they should
fly
move
everybody to
everything.
India. That's it.
They just move everything there. And bro, I'm telling you, as actors, if you had I was reading X-Files. The entire X-Files was shot in Vancouver. And David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, they hated the weather because it's super cold. It's snowing all the time. I mean, Canadian weather, it's shit, right?
Yeah,
so, it's like, Canadians can attest
Sorry
to
to
it, right?
our
Yeah.
Canadian friends.
Sorry, mate. But I mean, we come from Melbourne, so obviously it doesn't snowfall here, but even here the weather's not that sunny all the time anyway.
It's not that great.
So we understand.
Let's be
this,
honest,
right?
it's not that great.
So anyway, for a Hollywood actor to move down to Vancouver, because that's the way they were able to shoot TV shows for much cheaper. The idea is you move everybody there. You get state of the art. They'll have everything, and their money will go much further if they live in India. And they'll probably love living there. Because fucking the amount of hero worship that happens there, it's just crazy, right? Anyway, that was just on a funny note. But on a serious note, I guess that A.R. Rahman, what he's done is basically he's gone ahead and produced a song where I've listened to it. It sounded pretty real to me, right? And
It sounded like straight up real. He was able
yeah.
to get like the minor inflections in the voice and everything.
Yeah,
But then again,
plus I think he's a great
but then
sound
again,
engineer
voice-
as well. He's one of the best sound
but-
engineers in India.
but the thing is, voice in AI, voice cloning is what he's done. Okay, so there is a real singer. He sang the song
Yeah, yeah. You dump all
close
his
to.
audio and everything into that, and then it learns.
No. But it's not a matter of you typed the words and on the other side the AI voice just sang automatically. It is not AI voice synthesis. What it is basically there's another singer. He's singing the same song. So he sings the song
Yeah, yeah.
and he tries to match the intonation and the inflections of the singer that they're about to clone. Okay. And then what happens is when the AI voice from that singer is brought and given this data, okay, look, this is the song you're supposed to sing. So it's the audio file from the ghost singer, if you will. They bring that audio file from the ghost singer. This AI then
So
looks at
basically,
it, synthesizes
what
it.
you're trying to say is like, for example, you have someone
It's
like
voice
Sora
cloning. Yeah,
You
Sonu
have
Nigam.
someone like
Okay.
Sonu
Say
Nigam.
for example Sonu Nigam.
He's
So
great
Sonu
at
Nigam
singing
dies.
Kishore Kumar and Rafi songs, right? So and I've
Exactly.
seen him. So you get him to
Yeah.
sing like Rafi,
So
and then you put Rafi's
so you
audio
yeah.
synthesis on top.
Yeah, so you get him to
Mask
sing
it.
like Rafi. You don't even get Sonu Nigam to sing like Rafi. You get
Anybody.
some more unknown people who have learned how Rafi sings. You get that guy to come in, like my dad. My dad loves to sing like Rafi songs, and he's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
sounds like Rafi sometimes. Okay, so he will sing the Rafi song. He'll sing the whole song in the style of Rafi, and then that song will be that audio, I guess, base, that whole audio file will be brought in, and it'll then be plugged into the AI software saying, okay, now using the data you have from the actual Rafi,
Right.
his voice, convert this into his voice.
So this
So
might
the
be
AI
what they
already
are
has.
doing, or some other tech.
I feel like
new,
that is what they're doing. I have a feeling that is exactly what they're doing. There's a very good YouTube video from a guy who basically did the same thing, but he did it with a Japanese singing, like a Japanese indie pop band.
Right, right,
So this guy, he's a Mexican guy. He created like some nonsensical, like sounds to sound Japanese,
right.
and then he plugged in using AI. Stability audio, I think that's the AI. He plugged his vocals into Stability AI, and he used the voice model of that particular Japanese indie pop band, and boom, like so it was his words, but they sounded like the Japanese indie pop band.
Right.
So that's what's actually I think is happening. So it's not like there's no effort being done. It's not like A.R. Rahman just went typed out the whole song in on his keyboard and boom, he pressed play and it just came out perfect like that. It's not like there's
so
a bit of
obviously
work
some
involved.
work being done. Yeah.
Yeah. So the singer still has to sing in the right intonations and the right inflections and the right pronunciations, everything. The singer has to still mimic that to a great effect. Let's say the singer has to be like 80% close to the source, the original source. And then when they feed it to the AI takes care of the rest of it. Yeah, again, people need to have some understanding of
Well, we were talking about audio.
It's not magic.
Yeah, we were talking about audio there, and another clip also in relation to. I guess we're since on that AI wagon. We're gonna a couple of things have happened during this week. Obviously, the big one being Sora AI. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh my god!
But before that, we'll get to this one here. A couple of things I want to share, like this one here.
Waiting with bated breath as to ultimately how Apple adopts AI.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. 2024, it's the year of AI for Apple, generative AI and large language models to be specific. The company is working on several new artificial intelligence initiatives to run on both the iPhone and the Mac.
I love how they share
one of the
information
most
saying as
important
if
things
like
is
fucking
saying your sort
news
of
to
infrastructure and foundation to
No,
integrate
but it is
AI
news to a
into
lot
your
of people. This is like
First
mainstream.
thing
This is
you can do
Bloomberg, too
is
mainstream.
bring
It is
artificial
news to a lot of
intelligence to
people.
your programming tools. That's Xcode. That's the software used by developers inside Apple and outside Apple. So they'll be adding AI to that.
I'm really interested, Mark, on the pressure that Craig Federighi is under, because if you read the detail in your story, which is terrific, by the way, the board was given a demo of the latest in AI at the end of last year, and they've almost reorged. They basically said, you three key personnel, give us the product.
Correct. So just to shorten that, the video goes on for a bit, but basically how they have GitHub, they're building a rival to GitHub, basically. So I think that
For Xcode, yeah.
I've been kind of, I mean, it's not really a prediction, but I mean, my prediction, I don't think so. It'll probably land the way it needs to land, but I have, to the normal, all my mates and people at work, I keep telling them that, look, Apple is not sleeping. They're working on something. It's just that they want to build a very mature track before it all happens. So sounds like what they're doing is they're going through the development route first. They want to make sure the rails are in place. From a developer point of view, all the tools are in place. And the enablement of AI for people to build the apps, to build things that they want
I'm
to
telling you,
develop.
the first
Rather
first
than
we're
they
gonna hear
working
of
on
this,
their own products, they want to first make sure that the developers community has everything they need for AI.
before I'm telling you, before they actually talk about this at any kind of Apple keynote event, there's going to be a WWDC or triple WDC or whatever you want to, the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference jo hoti hai na, WWDC. They're going to actually unveil AI at WWDC for the developers first. That's where we will first hear this is Apple's AI platform now. And then after that, after WWDC, they're going to have like a bunch of maybe smaller keynotes throughout the year, or maybe just one at the release of the new iPhone or whatever. Like, oh, now the iPhone comes with AI built in or something. Or iOS, iOS now has AI in it or something like that. And you can run a large language model on your phone. This will completely kill Rabbit, by the way. Like, it'll completely destroy Rabbit.
Yeah, but I think that,
you
people who are building Rabbit, their whole idea, I mean, to me, what Rabbit is, just an exercise in getting venture capital, increasing the valuation of your company and selling it to someone.
It's the Ponzi. It's the Ponzi. It's a great
Kind of
Ponzi.
feels like that's what it is, because it's very hard for any entrepreneur at the moment to take off, Microsoft or Apple, off its podium. It's just impossible, right? Because they now have the government on their side as well. So you cannot cause any kind of disruption. I mean, look at TikTok, bro. TikTok has come in, and everybody has now
wiping
lobbied.
the floor with everybody.
Facebook has the biggest lobbying group on Capitol Hill, right? So
Oh, really? Facebook?
Yeah. I mean, that's what our friend Nashad told me a while back. But we will have him on the show, and I think we will talk about tech and its alliance with
don't
government.
mind the gap with him.
And how money plays a huge role. Obviously, money plays a huge role everywhere. But I think that, a lot of people don't understand that the other side of the business within tech is government. That is what people don't understand, that how tech without government is not going to survive. Because technology is open source by default. Think about if, let's say, Isaac Newton, he discovered gravity. Before that, a lot of people had been working on gravity, but he happened to be the person who opened the whole fucking floodgate, right? So he discovered gravity, and he had patented the formula to calculate or anything to, work to do with gravity. Can you imagine if gravity had a patent on it? If it did, we would not be able to go to the space. We'll not be able to do all those things
we won't be
without
able to do
any of the red tape. And at the moment, I know it sounds weird. People say, no, man, gravity is like with everybody. What are you talking about? No. Same thing with code. You could use Python to create exact same code of the App Store, or the exact same code, the way the scroll works. When you're on iPhone, you scroll, and that smoothness and the way it scrolls and it responds to the touch.
That
whole thing is patent. That whole thing is under a patent. You try to do the scrolling to that same amount of propensity to how you flick your finger, you will get fucking sued. And that is just code. Someone wrote code. Okay, you've written code in your own language, with your own way. You got to that point.
However, you can get sued. You can get sued, but if in court you prove that you arrived at the same output independently of Apple.
Doesn't matter. So if you build a car out there of plastic, that looks exactly like Tesla, you'll get sued. Doesn't matter what materials you use, whatever. You know?
Okay.
Right? So if that's the whole, that, what do you think Samsung did? They didn't reverse engineer their code. They just kind of human beings are good at copying. Especially, man, we Asian people, we're very good we're at that inflection point where we will escape from eventually, which is you always start from copying. You always start looking at how nature. I mean, man looks at nature.
How other people have done it.
Man looks at nature and other people and copies it. Fishes, aerodynamics, it all comes from nature. Aerodynamics and the way the fish scales work, all that stuff comes from I mean, look at fucking planes, bro. Where do you think the idea of aerodynamics comes from? Birds. A lot of inspiration comes from nature. Now imagine someone has fucking patented that thing. You're fucked. You will never be able to get in because the government is protecting them. There's a great set of books that have come out. Its name is One Nation Under Blackmail. Okay, and it's volume 1 and volume 2.
One Nation Under Blackmail. Okay.
One Nation Under Blackmail, volume 1 and volume 2. For people who, I mean, I don't want to discuss that book here, but you want to read it, go and find it. And that book is written by Whitney Webb, I think, and it talks about how government works, that one whole facet of government, how it works. So you will learn a lot just by reading that, right? So, and I mean, big tech is that, we think that, they have some moat and we think that they have some ingenious software that, nobody can replicate. That's not the case, man. Look at Uber. Uber had a lot of rivalry from other companies that are doing exactly the same that Uber is doing. But because Uber doesn't have government on their side, because you got to understand, Uber alienated itself by coming out with a service that took away a lot of the revenue from the government. Cab business, the yellow cab business is just one example. Melbourne cab business is that one example. It completely killed that. But the government on the inside started thinking, you know what? We don't have to run these services, all right? We let Uber do the whole thing and we will just collect tax. How good is that? And it's just a way more efficient system to create money.
Way more efficient way of doing it. Yeah, I get it.
Right. So that's why.
But Uber, okay,
so
we're talking about Uber. Yeah, hang on. We know that Uber now in Australia, it has come full circle. It has now become a taxi company now. You know why? Because now you can dial a 1-300 number and book an Uber.
Yeah, you can dial. And even at the airport now, they have an Uber stand at the airport as well now.
Yeah, so it's a taxi company now.
But the fact that they have an Uber stand at the Melbourne airport, okay, and at Sydney, shows that they are paying them they have that relationship where they're making money, the airport is also making money.
Yeah, of course.
In the past, there was no parking spot, so you had to go. You had to go across the airport to the other side where normal people come and pick up, and you have to get in touch with the fucking driver who's driving. All that shit had to happen. So, I think it's just about the money, bro. Money, you just follow the money. It's like how they said in The Wire. Follow the money. Like don't follow the money. He actually tells him, but what we understand.
He tells him, okay, there's a saying, like okay, the wire mein, he
don't
says
follow the money because if you follow the money, you don't know where it's going to lead you.
Yeah. If you follow the money, you don't know where it's going to take you.
Follow the case, don't follow the money. He's saying if you follow the money, you do not know where it's going to lead you, right? Because that's what's going on. So I think that for people who want to analyze the situation, just look at the money. You'll realize what's really going on, right? All right. So Perplexity AI, you heard about that, man? I've been thinking about talking about it for a while.
No, I haven't actually heard about
It's across on my.
AI.
I will share that with you. Have a look. What do you think? Is this a Ponzi or is something really?
Founder and CEO of Perplexity AI. Perplexity is a conversational answer engine that aims to deliver answers to you to whatever questions you may ask. We are trying to revolutionize how people consume information online. Instead of getting pinned blue links, they can just ask questions in natural language and just get it answered instantly. And we launched the product on the 2022. We have like about 10 million monthly active users at this point. It's basically grown 1,000x.
Yeah, but GPT I think is limited to 2008, right? That money's coming in, brother.
No, GPT-4 can actually search the internet as well.
I grew up in India, studied in one of the IITs there, and I was really into algorithms, programming ever since the beginning. A friend of mine told me about a machine learning contest, which I didn't even know what machine learning was. What all they told me was, hey, there's this data set, and you can figure out a way to predict the output given the input. And it was fun, and I won the contest. And I didn't spend a lot of...
Sorry, man, we'd love to hear
So
a
he
story,
didn't know
but
what
we just
ML
wanna get to the
was.
point.
He didn't know what ML was.
Artificial
and then
intelligence would be the ultimate version
he
of
won
Google.
a contest
So
in ML.
we had the ultimate search engine. It would understand everything on the web. It would understand, exactly what you wanted, and it would give you the right thing.
Yeah, Perplexity is the world's first conversational answer engine. What does that mean? Earlier, we were used to entering something like keywords or a bunch of phrases, and Google gives you 10 blue links, and you open each of them and start reading. Perplexity is trying to build a future where you don't have to do this. You can just come and ask a question just like how you would ask a friend. And that AI replies to you with the answer, but not just the answer. Every sentence that it says also has corresponding reference, or we call it a citation. This is all coming from an academic background. Like my co-founder Dennis and I are PhDs. We figured that we would use this principle that everything in a paper that you write in academia, you have to back it up with reference from
You
another
would
paper.
might
And that
write your own paper and then cite that paper. That's what you want to do. That's how this thing works.
That's
how
this thing
Perplexity
works.
works.
Exactly.
It's almost like how
You
a
write a
journalist
paper
essay is
and then you
written, or
cite your own
history
paper
is
in the
written.
news
Often you're
section.
curious about something, but you don't exactly know what you want even. So how can the AI help you if you don't know what you want? People are not expert prompt engineers. They're never going to be. Don't blame the user for not having a
Oh,
good
bro,
prompt.
don't
Blame the AI for
pause
not
it for a
being able
second.
to
Well, I saw
expand.
as soon as I
People are
saw a
not prompt
James Bond
engineers.
poster at the back, right? I knew that this guy is now all it now remains. He's definitely a James Bond fan. Hopefully, he wants to be
Yeah.
Bond and not
He's a villain,
Spectre.
bro. He's the villain. He's James Bond villain. I want to look at what shoes he's wearing. Is he wearing white loafers?
Yeah,
Then,
because
you know,
that's
I'm like,
another
nah,
way
my
to
Help
tell
them
whether a
expand
human being
themselves
is on the
to
right
prompt.
path.
That's why we built this thing called Copilot on our site, where as you ask a question, Copilot will ask clarifying questions, and your prompt is basically getting expanded interactively. This is similar to talking to a friend. Like,
All
hey,
right,
you know
myself
what? I'm
selling is
figuring
a
out.
whole friend thing. I get it. Okay, so
Okay. I get
yeah,
it.
so Arc browser is another one that we just jump straight to Arc browser and let's talk about this whole thing, and we couple them together and kind of talk about what do you think. This is a great marketing strategy. Like the way they've marketed this thing. This guy
today, after 4
he
years
gives
of
me
foundational work, we're
the
pulling the
pulling
future forward.
forward.
Introducing a brand new category of software.
category.
It's a browser that
He did the whole
browses
Steve
for
Jobs
you.
thing, right? Browser
What?
that
It's a
browses
browser that
for you.
browses for you.
It's 3 devices.
Nice.
It's not just a phone.
Why do I even exist?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're combining
3 essentials. You see, he did the whole
elements of
Steve
the
Jobs
internet.
thing. I mean, I didn't know he was going to say that, but kind of felt that whole Steve Jobs thing where he kind of says that.
No, because people
you
saw
know,
his keynote, right?
Yeah.
The 2000 when he launches the iPhone, right? That keynote, many people look at that keynote and they're like, "That is how
That's how
presentation needs to be
presentation
done," and then they just
browser?
blatantly follow it.
Yeah, the problem is that I think that just because you get it and what made that presentation
Yeah,
amazing?
many other people don't get it. I see.
No, I mean psychologically what made that presentation amazing was the crowd. The response of the crowd.
crowd's, "Oh."
Correct. So, it's like when you watch Friends, they have a laughing track at the back. The laughing track
Yeah.
laughs at the right time, like in Seinfeld as well. And you will laugh because the laughing track is laughing. So the crowd drives the excitement in that video. If you remove using AI or whatnot, remove that background noise and you just focus on how he's presenting it, I don't think so it'll have the impact that the crowd had. The crowd is basically there and you're responding to the voice of the crowd at the back as well. And that is kind of driving that hype for you as well.
search
You're
engines and web pages into a single cohesive tool, all designed to save you time.
Save me time.
And save you time. And sorry.
We started filming this video like every other tech announcement we've ever seen, because that's what you do when you have something big you want to share with the world, right?
2 Bravo, take 1, Mark.
God, it sounds like we're going to space. Here is our vision. It's really simple. You tell Arc what you're trying to do, and Arc will go and do it for you. Why go to a search engine when we can bring the links directly to you? Why read a web page when we can read 10 in the same amount of time? What you're about to see today are 4 brand new features that tease.
But despite our best efforts, this format just didn't feel quite right. But despite our best efforts, this didn't feel quite right. How was
So
that?
I think what they're trying to go for here is they're trying to go for that whole authenticity, roots level kind of marketing. And it's very YouTubey, very Instagrammy, not Instagrammy, very YouTubey basically, the whole,
very YouTubey actually.
Yeah, trying to like the way, and basically he demos the whole.
Trying to be authentic.
Trying to be authentic and everything.
Trying to be true. Or
and
something.
this video will obviously put it down for people to have a look. So what it does is it creates tabs using your behavior. It'll group tabs together. It'll find tabs for you every day. If you keep visiting the same sites again, it'll grab those tabs every day in the morning when you open it up and serve it to you so that you can read it. It's doing what that Perplexity AI kind of does, but it's more like you go into the browser and you just type what you want and it'll grab it and bring it to you and it'll serve it to you as a web page. So let's have a look at this bit here.
What I wanted.
I might give
Voila.
this a try actually. I'm gonna try.
Strap a screen to their face. Folder of Vision Pro reviews, because if I'm going to spend that much money, I got to make sure it's really worth it. So I tell Arc what I wanted.
Yeah.
Voila. Not only did it go out and browse for me, it brought it back and made a folder. It titled the folder, and I got 5 different reviews in here, including from Reddit. I can just click through
Including
and
from Reddit.
you can
It's
check it
about
out.
crawling the
Stop
internet. And
it.
these people, this couple, man, they're super excited. Look at that.
Isn't that wild?
That's
Oh my
that's a
God.
game changer feature.
We're like, oh my
Some would
God.
say
We're like,
Josh is
yeah.
pretty good at explaining things, but sometimes you just need to land the point.
So,
So there's
I
this
know what you're
whole
thinking.
this marketing.
Because
kind
I'm
of
thinking the
thing.
same thing. If this is such a brilliant idea, why has no one ever done it yet? Money. It always has to do with money. So rewind. It's 2008, and Google, the protagonist of Arthur's story, is this. And thanks to AdWords and Sheryl
So what they're
Sandberg,
doing is that
their
with
search
this
engine.
whole, I'm actually more interested not in the product, is the way they've done
They're
it, the
educating the
marketing
customer
of it,
as
right?
well.
Very grounded in kind of their version of reality, right? Make you feel that it's all real. And what they do is they're educating you about history, about the product itself, and how their product is different. At the same time, it's doing multiple jobs. The video is not just there for people who want to be users. It's video for people like us who want
For
to
people who want
review
to
it,
understand as
understand
well,
it,
yeah.
and potential investors in the future. That's what's going on, And yeah, so she explains the whole search engine thing, how it works, and
Imperial. Why don't you just tell
It'll
Arc
do
what you're
things for
looking
you.
for, and then it will go browse the web for you, and it will do whatever it needs to do. It'll click on whatever buttons. It'll go wherever it needs to go, and then bring it right back to you. So this is it telling you all of the places on the internet it went.
Stop it.
Stop it. So I'll
Stop it.
So basically, Arc browser is kind of a thing where you type things and it does things for you as well, in addition to just giving you serving
Yeah, it's an
information.
AI powered browser.
Right. Then you got
it's
Perplexity
an
AI,
LLM
which is
browser.
basically
It's
a
a
search
LLA
engine. They're
browser,
going for the
sorry.
whole search engine thing. So there's obviously going to be a clash in the future
Yeah.
somewhere, where and then guess what? Google is going to come.
Google's gonna come
Google's
in and be
gonna
like,
come and
ban
say,
both of your bitches.
we have made the biggest leap and the biggest change ever in the history of Google. And here
In the
we
history
go.
of Google,
This, that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
We're going to change fundamentally. We are a company where people used to say, did you Google it? You can Google it. And now we are here for the next phase. That's what they're going to do when they launch it, right? So the is going to come out and talk about, okay, there we go. We have upgraded the whole thing now. You can just go and just type what you want. So they're working on it. They got the entire fucking, the dark army is definitely working on creating that platform.
The Sauron's
Yeah,
army is
definitely
working
it's on the
very
thing.
hard.
But what do you think? I mean, do you think we will move off the? I think we will, right? Moving off the whole search engine.
No,
thing.
we have to.
We have to. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we have to.
But the way information gets served
It's
to
a-
you,
it's a
does it
given.
get served like that? I mean, do you think we even need browsers? 'Cause at the moment, we are using ChatGPT or whatever
still do.
through the browser. But do you need a
I
browser?
mean, we still do need browsers. But I guess
Why do you need the browser?
what eventually is going to happen.
Why do you need, let's say, the Washington
listen to me.
Times front page to look at that certain way when all of that is going to get sucked up?
I know, but what's going to happen is eventually we're gonna how do I say this? Eventually what's going to happen is we're going to actually have just the operating system, right? Which is going to have everything integrated into it. Now, it's up to whoever is making a product to serve that operating system or not. It's kind of like, the app market today, right? You have the Google app market and you have the Apple app market, correct? I think it's going to become like that. Instead of having to open individual apps deliberately, all the apps will be integrated into the actual operating system. That's my personal feel. So if you want to access, like, say, the Washington Post, the app is already integrated into, whatever Apple product you have. So, like in this case, say Apple Vision, thing is already integrated into it. You just ask for it to open, like, the Washington Post, and I want to read the top headlines from Washington Post. It'll come up within your feed, within whatever Apple product it is. I think that's where we are headed.
I mean,
with the way
with the
APIs
whole
are
AR
designed, with the
thing
way,
that is
like,
going on at the
developer.
moment, what do you think is happening there? Do you think, information will get served based on how, I guess all these multiple devices will remain, but the fact that, let's say, if I have a Apple Notepad, Apple Notes, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
get links straight into that without having to, at the moment, like, even for this, our CitizenBot
Mm-hmm.
show, I have to go in and crawl through the web, gather all the information, copy links manually, give notes. So in the future, do you think that they will just integrate? Integration will be a thing, like
I have a feeling, yeah,
you'll be able to
there'll be
search
an
from
integration.
anywhere.
So it'll be like, okay, you'll be able to highlight something, and then there'll be options, and then you'll say, yep,
So
add this
like
to my notes, or
if
something like that.
tomorrow, like
It'll be
let's say you want to buy something, right?
I think if you have an iPad, you can already do that. You can actually add it directly into your
Yeah,
notes.
you can even
Without
here.
having
But what
to-
I'm trying to
yeah.
say is like being able to search and create a list in the notepad. You're working in a notepad
Yeah.
that's powered.
within the notepad.
That's one
Right.
example. You have a notepad that is powered
Okay.
by AI and is able to crawl through the web and get you information that you need. Let's say you want to prepare a
Yeah,
note.
most likely it can happen.
Let's say you want a note of a recipe, a bunch of recipes, and you want to put it together for a party, and you want to
Yeah.
create like a note for it where it
Yeah.
just grabs everything and puts it in there, which kind of like
Yeah.
which kind of like Microsoft kind of talked about it a bit, like in create a PowerPoint slide. You can ask ChatGPT and it'll give you all that. But the problem is it's all within ChatGPT.
Yeah, it'll give you a whole
So
bunch
at the
of stuff.
moment, if
yeah.
I want an Excel sheet output or whatever, like ChatGPT is not going to do that. It'll create a table for you, and then you have to manually copy paste and all. So all these small bits of integration that can be tied together. But what I'm saying is that in the future, you'll be searching from within things. And think about it. Why do you go to the search engine to begin
You'll
with?
be within a piece of software, and you will be able to do everything
Correct.
within
So,
that piece of
like
software
you read
without
an
exiting
email
that ecosystem
in your
basically, yeah.
mailbox in Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you're like, oh shit, I want to look at. You get an offer, let's say, for solar panels in your Gmail, and you're thinking, okay, this offer is for $1,000 a meter or some shit like that, right? You're getting like, let's say, 5 kilowatts, and they're charging you $5,000 for it, and you're like, you know what? Let's find out on the internet how much it is for. Let me just get a bit of
How
a
much it
squiz.
actually
How much
costs,
they
yeah,
actually
exactly.
cost compared to the software.
Yeah.
What you're doing is then you're minimizing that window or
Yeah,
opening a new tab and then going there and searching, right? Now, what AI would be great at is you're reading something and it automatically is matching as to what you're reading and kind of figuring out, okay, is this information you might need?
You might be interested in this, or you
You
might
look
be
at an
interested in
ad,
that. Yeah.
okay, somewhere. Advertising is going to get a big hit. A big problem is going to be that,
Yeah,
because there's no
100%.
real estate now for advertising.
Yeah.
You'll be at ChatGPT and you're not looking at the web pages and all that, so there's no ads anymore. So what happens to all of that, right? I think because at the moment, what this is, the internet is just a free parking lot for a shopping mall. You go, parking is free.
Essentially, yeah.
Couches are free, so when you get tired, you can sit down. All right. The playgrounds are free. The food court is there for you to sit down and relax, but everything costs money and cents in order to draw you into the mall. You know what I mean? And that's what Amazon replaced. The idea of you looking for a parking, going to the mall, going door to door, looking for the certain product. Here
Now
you
you
just
just
type
go to
and you go to
Amazon, that's
Amazon. Now, will Amazon front door be a thing of the past, and that all will get integrated into things? When you look at an ad, it'll automatically tell you
It'll
that it's
get
available
integrated
at
into-
Amazon at that
yeah.
price. You can just go get it there. Because what AI will do is scroll the web to look for the cheapest option. So now, are we gonna there are going to be multiple things that are going to happen? So I think it's a very exciting time. And the last thing I would like to end on, there was this guy there was an IT specialist who completely automated his job.
Automated his whole
he automated
thing.
his
Yeah,
whole
I
thing.
remember
And
that.
there's a guy, Trung fan that I follow on Twitter. and he has some amazing posts from time to time. And I think this is also another thing that people have to deal with in the future. So let's look at this one. So this was a Reddit post, okay, that happened. I automated my job over a year ago and haven't told anyone. This was a year ago. Okay? So this is around COVID, okay? I saw some similar post to this, so I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon. I work for a mid-sized law firm that hired me as an ID specialist to handle all of their digital evidence for trials. The law firm was in the process of changing their evidence managing system to cloud-based and wanted me to be the only person with admin access to the cloud. Everyone else would be limited to view only and would work on a local network drive. Sounds great. But I quickly realized this was the only task they expected me to perform in my 8-hour shift. This was in no way an 8-hour job. So I was stuck finding busy work at the office most of the time. Right. So COVID happened. He automated the whole fucking thing. I am only at my desk maybe 10 minutes a day. For a while, I felt guilty, like I was ripping the law firm off. But eventually, I convinced myself that as long as everyone is happy, there's no harm done. So this post was what was there. And Trung Fan basically reposted that and said, need an update from IT specialist that automated his full-time job at a legal firm down to 10 minutes a day.
A legal firm, yeah.
Right. And since then, I think, I'm not sure if the guy has actually reached out or not, but yeah, that's the update. Okay. All right. Update. I automated my job to Rigo. Hi, anti-work. There's a Reddit, anti-work. I like to start by thanking you for the support. I have had some recent changes to my career. First off, my firm eventually found out that what I was doing. Turns out they didn't really care. As many of you suspected, they knew that even with automation, they still need me there for maintenance as well as the nightly verification I performed. So basically, which leads me to the biggest update. They began to understand that I was overqualified for the position they put me in. Their idea of a system administrator and what a sysadmin can really do was way off. So they ended up recommending me to someone else. Turns out our state government is expanding their database. Basically, he's got more work. So he's officially been hired by the state now.
Yeah.
So what a classic story where, the actions kind of serve his
work
own end. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy,
No.
if you think about it.
Yeah. So you do your work effectively, and the reward is more
reward
work.
is more work. Correct. He's thinking of it as if it's a positive, but in reality, just more work, right? And
it's just a negative.
Talking about
bro.
work,
You just got to do more work.
Correct. So talking about, but it's a great story, right? So talking about work, I think the last one that everybody probably has been waiting for, you and me, including the other person watching, is that Sora AI, right? So let's first have a bit of a watch.
Let's get to the big dog.
Yeah, the big dog. So this is it. This here is text to video for people who don't know. So basically, just like Midjourney, for example, but it generates video, and it does it apparently. I mean, people are saying it does it in 10 minutes or whatnot, or 5 minutes, or even faster than that. At the moment, I think.
So who has access to Sora? Can I access Sora from
not
my
yet.
GPT?
I think they just debuted it, okay, and I think that it'll be coming out soon. So at the moment, I think it's in testing phase, and certain people have access to it. But look at this, man. So these are the live examples,
beautiful.
okay. Yeah, and look at this one here. Close-up shot of a Victoria crowned pigeon. Actually, I've got a better video to share. Give me a sec. There's a YouTube video that Sam Altman released, and in that one, he basically talks about it's all these clips, but from an official. There you go. Check this out. So the reason I like this video better, which is published by OpenAI, it tells you about the model, but it also gives you the text prompts as well. So it'll write the text prompt, and then it'll show you what video was generated because of that. Right? All videos in this video were generated directly by Sora. A cartoon kangaroo disco dances. Look at that.
Nice. And the leg is kind of weird. in
Yeah.
some
So I'll
frames,
increase
but it's
the.
okay.
This is an enhanced. What do you call? Better, better bit rate. So this is running at 182 at the moment. I don't know why they didn't publish 4K. Maybe there is no 4K at the moment. They only can produce it in 182, or maybe this is upscaled. Maybe this video is upscaled. We'll find out more. Borneo wildlife on the Kinabatangan River. Look at that, bro. Now this here, bro, is just crazy. Like you can't tell.
That is just crazy, bro.
Can't tell. Like imagine if my dad
pretty
got this over WhatsApp. Like like he will think this is real because the screen sizes are small, right? You can't tell. Like this one, you can tell. Obviously, it's 3D or whatnot, but stock footage just died because of this. Like the business of stock footage. I mean, look at this, bro. I mean, if you're looking at this video for 5 seconds, you'll not be able to tell where the discrepancies are. But obviously, if it keeps running, you'll be able to tell, okay, something is wrong here. This is a 30-second, I think, trailer that they created, like a movie trailer. This looks more like a fucking avant-garde ad for like a fashion brand, like Emporio and Armani's new, winter fall or something like that. Like one of those eccentric like ads. Coffee cup, within a coffee cup, pirate ships. It looks
Pirates,
a bit weird in terms of animation, obviously, but for stock footage, it's amazing. If you're gonna use it for
a quick piece of footage.
if you're a low budget advertiser, I mean, if you got low budget, look at this, bro.
Oh my god.
Like
insane.
Look at the way people are walking. I mean. Like this is understandable, right? Like everything is kind of frozen and only that thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is
It looks like a video game.
Yeah, it looks quite a bit like a video game.
All right. Yeah. For one simple text, that's amazing.
Like just in a few lines, you can get something like that. It's just. Yeah, look at this, bro. Yeah, I mean, this actually is not. This is very hard, actually. This what they've done here. This is much harder than all the other stuff, actually. If you think about it, papercraft. So this is understandable. Like, okay,
nice.
Look at that. The cat on the bed, and even this one.
Oh yeah, brother.
And it goes for 10 minutes. There's not just one example. There's multiple examples. Look at this. Like here, the hands and all that, the fingers. Some of it is a bit out of. Like you can see that some of the hands are not. Look at that. You can feel like they're not perfectly
right,
fine, but still,
Yeah,
bro, look at that. If you're a storyboarding artist or something like that, bro, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at that. So there's a lot of footage, Guy sitting on the cloud.
When you don't know, you know, bro.
Look at this. Construction. The gold rush thing, man. Look at this, bro. There's another one that someone has done. Same thing, gold rush, okay, but it turns into a futuristic city, and whales are flying and all that stuff in the same footage. And David Attenborough is basically talking using his AI voice, like about the future and all that. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Look at this. You can see the video, like the waves a little bit, stuttery and all that.
That's it, bro. Time to get back into Jeep. Time to now learn Jeep.
That's
Sora
right.
AI
Now time to learn. But I don't know whether this is going to be paid or is going to be for commercial use only. I don't know how it's going to work. But this is brilliant. Look at this one, bro. Tokyo in snow.
Look, regardless of what its use it's going to be for, there's going to be workflows now surrounding this.
Look at this, bro. ये मतलब बहन चोद क्या है ये देख तो सही है नॉर्मल इंसान देखे वो सोचेगा असली है
Yeah, I know.
Now from this point onwards you cannot believe anything you see on the internet. Nothing you can believe. You gotta go full Eddie Bravo on this thing. Look at
Full
this,
Eddie Bravo.
Look at that, bro. Look at that. Look at the lighting
like
and
from Melbourne,
like finish, bro. Finish. खत्म है बाप खत्म है सब कुछ. Look at this.
We're finished.
I mean, now what?
Great.
Are you still going to believe when people tell you that, oh, this is just going to help you, assist you? Is that what this whole thing is about? Universal basic income, bro. It's incoming.
UBI, brothers.
Look at this, bro. Stock footage. It's like, this is stock footage material. Look at that. Khatam hai, Pap. Khatam hai. Chinese, look at this.
The
Look at
animations are still kind of weird. The
crowds, the way it's doing the crowds. Like,
that's not bad.
yeah. Look at that.
Oh, nice. This is nice.
Far out, bro. Look at the reflections.
Oh yeah, this one. I saw this one. This was actually quite good.
This is a quintessential footage of an ad. If you're a low budget advertiser.
But bro, we were talking about this just a while ago. Where you were like, people are gonna want to make movies.
Yeah, storyboards and all that. I mean, it'll change YouTube.
And
It'll change everything.
That's where it's here.
It'll change YouTube.
This is
It'll
where it
change
is.
the way we. I mean, animation, especially animation, bro, will change everything. So, I don't know, man. I mean, this is exactly what the podcast is
What you
for.
gonna do?
Experiencing this kind of material where you're like terrified and excited at the same time. It's like, when you read those like Japanese horror mangas where they combine sexual imagery with horror. And I was reading, I was reading this guy who kind of specialized in it, and he kind of came up with that format where someone asked him like, horror and sex, like how does that go together? He was like, it's the best kind of horror because those two emotions, it's like trying to rub your head and rub your tummy at the same time, kind of a thing. It doesn't really work. So it's like taking those two things and combining it. It's like these two set of emotions that kind of compete with each other. That's what like the feeling is right now. Like when I watch it, I'm not sure that I should be terrified or should I be excited.
No, I'm terrified. It's not that
I'm not terrified for myself.
No,
I'm just terrified for all the
thing.
misinformation.
I am terrified.
All the deep fake shit that's gonna happen.
I'm terrified for the future. Yeah, I'm terrified for
and
the future.
how people are gonna
100%.
see this and content created using these powers, and that's why regulation will come.
Like the average person in the.
That's where regulation will come.
Yeah. For the next 10 years, over the next decade, people are going to be like, I can't trust. Like, there'll be two people. There'll be people who will trust what they see on the internet, and they'll be like, yep, this looks real enough for my eyes, so it must be real. And then there'll be people who'll be like, can't trust anything on the internet.
Physical media will make a comeback even better.
More. I have a feeling, bro. I have a feeling. The more we inch towards this whole digital world, right? The more people have this yearning for physical. Okay, how
Not
do you
only
know
physical, I think we also the
this
yearning
is real,
for
it's in my hand.
Keep it natural. The whole idea of that. Like you look at a Super Bowl ad from Kanye, right? Like the idea of raw. It's like I mean, like our.
Yeah, he
like
just shot it off his iPhone, right?
The podcast that we're doing. I mean, we kind of had this whole thing in our head that we need to have
That raw and
chapters, we
real.
need to have clips, and we need to have like thumbnails and all. And I'm down thinking like, what the fuck for? Because there are people out there who've done none of that. You know what I mean? Like this whole idea that you need to fall into a certain way of how things need to be done.
The idea is like if you. My whole shtick is that we still get better. We still try and improve with every single podcast, with every single episode, with every single leap in technology. So say for example, tomorrow we might be able to invest in better cameras, might be able to invest in some better lighting, better improve the overall
Aesthetic,
production quality without losing the raw aesthetic of what we're trying to achieve. Like I don't want to. Even if we do titles, it has to be pretty simple. It doesn't need to be like super complicated or like super flying animations and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's just close it off here. Because
it's a wrap. We need to get back to life. All right. Till we meet again,
get back
mate.
to real life.
Yeah.
Until we meet again. See you, butts.